Hello YouTube, this is 3D Printed Life here, and today I'm going to do just another quick video about this upgrade that is going to be coming soon that I'm doing. Alright, I lied, it's not going to be quick, it's going to be like 10 minutes. But I just wanted to go over everything in detail because I sort of introduced it in my last video, but I didn't go over too much about it other than it will be coming soon and you'll be able to hopefully buy one. But now, as you can tell, the design is nearly complete. Most of the stuff has been done. There's just a few minor modifications that have to be done, but that should be done by the end of the weekend, hopefully by Monday or Tuesday. So let's get into it. What this is it is an upgrade either from the 1-up or the 2-up, and it basically does quite a few things. First of all, these side pieces, these are all metal, these brackets are metal, so it's going to be a very, very sturdy, very rigid frame, which hopefully should help increase the print quality at higher speeds. Now, along with that, it also changes it from a design where each axis is driven independently to an H-bot, which means this bed here is separate. The bed has its own screw to go up and down, and the top here, there's 2 stepper motors, but there's one belt that loops around all this, and these 2 motors work together in order to control the position of the extruder with respect to the bed. Now, on top of all this, everything has been designed to be as rigid as possible. As far as the plastic components go, every single mounting point has a nut. So if you look right here, every rod also has set screws. These side ones, these have one set screw and a slot for the nut in here. That's the same with all 4 of the sides. This middle piece, this has to be extremely rigid for H-bot so that it doesn't torque. So each piece has 2 set screws at an angle, and then again nuts. Bearings, oh no, I didn't color that one. I'll have to do that later. This actually helps though, because bearings, these are held down by clamps. The bearings go into these clamps. In this base piece there is a groove, and then the screws go through here, and there are of course nuts that drop in here which secure it. So what this design is meant to do is very, very securely hold the nuts in place, and as well hold all the rods. And then this extruder piece has one big bracket for both of the bearings. So that's basically how I did this entire design, was with just keeping in mind that I wanted to make it as strong as possible. And the good part about that is it doesn't really cost much more to add all those set screws and set nuts. It just requires more time in modeling, which I'm fine with. I have plenty of time. So X and Y went over. This guy can obviously slide all around. Z-axis, I went with an Ultimaker style, which is still a work in progress. This is going to be the biggest pain for me, figuring this out. My temporary name for this thing is the 3-up. I'll probably change it, but... So, this thing, again, it's got brackets in here to secure the bearings down inside this block. There you can see a glimpse of the bearing. This piece is for the flanged nut. It'll sit on top here, screw in, again, nuts of course. And then I'm still just working on a way to make a sort of brace system to reach out and support the bed. This right here, it's a 9 by 9 inch, no, it's a 10 by 10 inch, I believe, 250 millimeter by 250 millimeter bed. The actual print area at the moment is going to be about 193 millimeters in this direction, 205 in this direction, and vertical is still a mystery, but I'm assuming it to be about 150 millimeters if all goes as planned. I really am restricted by the length of this Z-acme screw, but to be honest, I don't think it's worth it to include a new screw just to add another 25 millimeters or so. So I'm just going to stick with 150, and really that's plenty. I don't see why you'd ever need more than that. But I will be doing the best to fully optimize and get the most out of this design without making it much bigger. The footprint here, it's 400 millimeters tall,
390 wide, so I guess 400 wide. So it's almost a perfect cube, which is pretty cool. And the good part is, nothing should be sticking out anywhere. I will have to like triple check everywhere. I believe, yeah, that's just barely fine. But the whole point of this is so that you can encase this in whatever you please. You can add paneling on the full paneling on this side, on the back side, and on the right side. You could add like a half panel up top here to hide this stuff. You can add a panel on top. You just have to keep in mind that the extruder is going to be in here, so you're going to have filament that has to go in, and a bunch of wires you're going to have to manage. And I'll try to include wire management, hooks and stuff built into these guys if I can. Extruder, I should go over here real quick. I went with a completely different design than stock, but you can still hopefully use the stock extruder. I will double check this once I make it. It uses the motor mounted behind a plate and then the extruder in front. So what this does, it's supposed to save space rather than having everything stick off the front of here. And it should center the weight a bit better, which should help with print quality. So essentially the screws go through the extruder first, then through this mounting piece, and then into the stepper, rather than before where it was through a mounting piece, through the extruder, and then to a stepper. So I believe this is how the replicator has their printer set up. So it does work. I just have to make sure it works with our extruders. If not, I might have to throw in a new extruder. I really don't want to do that though, because I know everybody has their own preference to what extruder they use. So I want to try to make this work with all stock extruders. Well, all the extruders that work on the stock model. Now, oh yeah, another thing to mention is that this design, it's meant to be kind of idiot proof, no offense. By that I just mean it's supposed to be easy to assemble. Some of the pieces, these bearing pieces in particular, will be a pain just because there's a screw back here, so there's a specific order you have to put together so that you can get all the screws in. But while technically it's not necessary to have all of them in because you have these metal brackets, it is definitely going to help with rigidity. And the only other pieces that really aren't like snap right in place pretty much are the Z system and the height for the feet here. But for both of these I will be including spacer pieces, which you just kind of throw on each side of this, and then you fasten this down. So it'll make sure that this piece is centered, that this piece is centered, and also the same two pieces can be used to make sure that this is the right height from the table, so that everything meshes well together and that this motor doesn't hit the ground, because it will be close. Final thoughts about this before I get into price. There will be hopefully end stop positions included for every axis, so that you can attach your own end stops or have end stops included. And the final thing I'm forgetting, so I guess it's not that important. I hope to have the design finalized in SolidWorks within a few days, like I said, and the actual printer to be completely assembled by the end of the month. Hopefully earlier than that, maybe around the 20th. So, getting into price, how can you get one? These, I'm not going to like mass produce these. I don't have time to do that, nor the money and capital to do that. So what I'm going to do is do it by order at first and see how it goes. I already have 3 people who have contacted me, said that they might be interested, so they are on the list. If you are interested too, leave a comment or send me a PM on YouTube. Just let me know you're interested, I'll add you to the list. You don't have to commit to anything yet. This is just so I have an idea of how many people want one, how many I should be making, and how much stuff from China I should probably order, because the belts and the end stops and the bearings, or maybe not the bearings, they do come from China. They're good quality, but they just take a while to get here. So I do have to kind of plan ahead for that. So let's get into the price, which I'm sure you're all very curious about. There is still no definite price because it depends on if I have to buy any extra components, but at the moment it is looking like the kit for the upgrade from the 2-up model, which is the bigger one, will probably cost around $225, including shipping and all those other fees. That will depend on how much PayPal takes out of it, because I'm still not sure how much they take out of payments. But if it is like only 5%, then that should be a good price. If not, I might have to bump it up to $240 or so. This is for the 2-up. Now for the 1-up, it requires 4 extra 290mm rods because it comes with shorter ones. It does come with 2 of the long ones in the kit, the vertical rods, but the other 4 are short. So that's going to cost an extra $40. So do the math, that's about $265 for the 1-up. And if you would like for me to throw in the end stops that I will design this to work with specifically, they are just rep wrap end stops, so they are pretty cheap and pretty common. I believe the sizes are all about the same, so you can order your own, or I can throw them in for $10 and have them already mounted on in all the places they have to be, and also have the screws for the triggers. So the price, it's definitely not like a confirmed price yet. It will depend on how much it costs me to make this, and how long it takes and all that stuff, and how long and how much it takes to print all of these printed components. Oh, one more thing, you can order, well, you hopefully will be able to order just the printed components or just the large printed components if you have a 1-up. So if you have a 1-up, the large printed components would just be this piece, and this piece, along with these bracket pieces that go on it, because you want everything to mesh together, especially for the Z-axis, which has to be rigid. So for the entire printed kit, it's probably going to cost about $75. For just the large pieces, probably around $50 or so. Not only because those are the largest, so that they take up more plastic, but they're also a bit bigger for shipping, and probably those 3 pieces are about half the total plastic, and then you gotta include shipping costs, and that's why it's 50 instead of like 30 or something. But you know, all those will be figured out at a later point. Nothing's definite. Like I said, if you're interested, please message me as soon as possible. No commitment, just it gets you on the list, and the kits will be offered in the order of the list, probably 1 or 2 at a time at first, depending on how many people want it. And oh, one final thing, I don't know if I'll be able to do international shipping. You can still be added to the list if you're international, outside of the US, but please just mention that you are, and I will let you know at a later point if I will be doing international shipments of this. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you are all looking forward to this upgrade as much as I am. I put a lot of time into this, and quite a lot of research into how other 3D printers work. So I'm hoping that this design works well, coming straight from the box, I guess you could say. But of course, things always tend to go wrong, so we will all see just about that. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you later.